Sponsored in part by Eye Candy Pigments. Top quality pigments, silicone molds, flakes, and glitters. Visit us online at eyecandypigments.com. We're going to do a little bit something different here. I'm going to narrate. I've been asked to do this once in a while, so we'll see how it goes. We'll just consider this a director's cut. Brad's just rolling in onto the track. We're going to get into hot laps here. One thing about hot laps that you really want to focus on, and my nephew Jack brought this up actually before we went out, and that is your speed. I mean, that determines where you're at in your heat race. And one strategy you really need to think about is spacing your car out. You don't really want anybody in front of you. The reason for that is you're not racing them. You're trying to get the fastest lap time. And if somebody's in your way, maybe taking the high side or, just blocking your speed, you don't want that. So having a really large space in front of you is going to help. You can see here this red car is kind of in Brad's way. He's got a series of yellows. Those don't help either in these qualifying laps because we're driving automatics and they take a little bit of time to spool up the torque converter. So every second you're spending spooling up a torque converter is really 1 second or two that you're not really making a whole lot of speed. So watching this, he's going to have to go out and pass this red car. My guess he'll probably do an inside pass, looking at the high line he's taken. Anytime you go on the inside, you scrub speed. So, he's making a clean pass, but he's going to scrub a lot of speed going on the inside of this turn 4 and then into the straightaway. See what he does with the white car here. He may not have enough time to, he's just qualifying, so it looks like the yellow's going to come out, and that's the end of timing. So hopefully, if you're in the situation, you're avoiding traffic. All right, let's check out Jack's qualifying run. Get him out of the chute, onto the track. Usually, when I'm coming out on the track, I just kind of mentally go over what I'm gonna do and how it's gonna get done. You really can't control much, but just kind of visualize, hey, I want to go high end. I kind of saw how other cars were going, that kind of thing. We get out on the track, they ramp us up pretty quick. Looks like Jack's taking a pretty high line on the track. There's nothing wrong with that. That's your fastest line. Looking really good here. He's at the point where he's about ready to start lapping cars. Looking here. That's only within a lap here. So he's making pretty good time here. I don't know what caused the yellow in qualifying. There's a yellow that comes up here. Really messed up our timing in that run. We'll see, a little bit lower times because obviously we gotta spool it back up. But I think out of the three of us, Jack had the best time. So he's about ready to start lapping around that car. Track's got a little bit of ruts here, but all in all, this is a really good run. Check out my qualifying or hot laps here. I did try and focus on spacing out here. Pulling out on the track. Pretty sure there's Travis Nichols in front of me. Just try and get a little bit of space between us here. And just run our lap. Could have gone up further. Definitely could have gone up further. A little bit of slide there. Not too bad. Travis is up on the track a lot higher, go a little bit faster. The high line's where you want to be. So this is the heat race. The track had just been watered, so this is really slick. It's not even tacky, but you know, we race on the track we're given, and we just do the best we can. You can see there's going to be no dust when we get started here. It is really slick. Everybody was slipping. Leaders, I don't know how they did it, but we did what we could. You know, I think I'm in position 5 or something like that. Jack's up front with the leaders. The reason why we don't have cam footage on this is because it was so muddy that both the action cameras were actually covered in mud at one point. I did uncover mine at some point during the race. I just reached up with my glove and wiped it off. But it is a slick track out here. It's not a dry slick, it's a wet slick. I don't know how many times I slipped out here, had some spin-offs and whatnot. Jack's doing pretty good. I'm just hanging in there. You know, this is a high-pressure situation because only the top 4 transfer. There's 40 cars this night, so you know we really had to go at it. That was Henderson Sr. He had a mechanical breakdown of some sort. I don't know, but we're getting lined up again here. Now the 25H is out. I'm up against the white car. I think it's the 21H. I'm not sure who that person is. I just tried to keep up with Canyon there as best I could. But you'll see later in the video, the white car and I kind of get into it a little bit. Wasn't intentional, but we'll see how it goes here. You see the track starting to dry a little bit. The high line was dried out. It was okay, but if you got anywhere into that pillow, it was sopping wet. There went one of us off track. I think that was a flat tire for Travis Nichols, 9-car, black car. He lost a tire. See, I'm trying to make up time. I know I'm running out of laps. You know, it's only 8 laps, and it's kind of go time for me because I need to get at least one position to stay out of the B main, which I really didn't manage to do. I think that was where I was at. Yeah, I only needed 1 at this point. So, you know, I'm starting to push the car a little bit more, driving a little bit beyond what the car is going to do, and I'm going to have to pay for it here. Still taking the high line, kind of slid a little bit. Still in the game. See me in the 21H there, kind of going at it. You can see I'm up on the high line. I'm trying to make an inside pass here. And I pull it off, but he catches me up on turn 4 here, if I remember right. And there's 1 lap to go, so it's go time. I kind of bumped a little bit here. I go too high. I hit the pillow. I come down on the track. I go off track. That actually kind of hurt a little bit. I jumped the car there. Just crank the wheel and get back on. But that's kind of what happens when you overdrive a little bit. Got a follow-up clip here after the end of this. See what happened. Here's on turn 4 again. We kind of bumped a little bit there. I actually grabbed my glove on accident. It resulted in that. I take the high line, but I hit the pillow. I come back down in. I'm trying to keep from getting into somebody, and that's when I jumped it because the car flipped the other direction. My guess, and this is just my supposition, had I stayed into it, I probably wouldn't have done what I did. Letting off the pedal, I think, was the mistake. Please take a moment to like, subscribe, and share. Alright, we're rolling into the B main. Brad is out of the race. He lost a steering rack during the heat race. So I'm on the top left, Jack is on the top right, and then obviously we've got the overall down the bottom. This was a tough race. There was a couple of faster cars in this one. We don't get a full lap in here. You can clearly see here there's not enough room for all of us in the turn. In the top right, Jack gets slammed into in the back. You know, I'm not sure if it was a new racer or what, but you can't fit in the same space. If there's no room, going faster than the guy in front of you is not going to work. So we get relined up here. Kind of left this long so that folks can make their own judgments here, but to me, it wasn't Jack's fault. So there you go. You can hear the spectators commenting as well. Just gotta sometimes not try and win it in the first lap. That's a pretty good example of that. So we're getting resorted here. Restart. Now at this point, I'm just trying to plan my way up. You know, top 4 transfer to the A main. Here we get restarted here again. Got a few people in front of me. I know I'm a little bit faster than a couple of these cars. Just need to get out in front. I get stuck on the inside here. Got Canyon Nichols up top. In front of Jack. Jack gets around me here, I'm pretty sure. He takes an inside line.
What the heck?
There's a lot of fast cars this night. Yep. I think it's 21H lost a rear hub. You know, this can happen to any car. Our Cavaliers are rigged so they have a safety hub on them. There's 2 companies that make them. D&D has the version we use, which is just a back plate that allows you to put a front hub on the back. And the hub can't physically come apart on ours. There's Campbell safety hubs. They make them for a variety of vehicles. But I highly recommend one. You know, the drinker rear gets a lot of abuse, and if you don't have one, I recommend one. There we go, and a restart. Jack, I think, is running 4th here. I need to climb 1 or 2. I'm getting the high line this time, which is a lot better for me. Looking pretty good here. Still got to climb one. I got to get rid of this Honda in front of me. Sometimes you just got to kind of time it. You know, I'll do an inside pass if I need to, and I think I attempt it here. And I pull it off. Here I'm in midline. Jack's on high line. Just need to hold him off. You know, there's no reason to try and win a B main, really, other than getting your top four in position. At this point, I'm golden. I'm just trying to keep up with Jack. I got him in front of me. Just kind of watch him, hang on him as best I can. Jack's running the high line again. He's got a few cars in front of me. Yeah. He's keeping up with the pack. Yeah, we're entering lap traffic here. It gets a little tricky because these cars are going a lot slower than us. Just try to find your path through. They don't necessarily know it's lap traffic, especially if they're newer to the racing. Just try and keep out of their way. Take the fastest path around them. Yeah, we got pretty tight there, 4 wide. But just knowing to keep your line is key when you get in this lap traffic. You just want to be predictable. If you know you're entering lap traffic, or the official's telling you got lap traffic, it's your signal to keep your line, because the leaders are going to pass you. You're not fast enough. So, you know, try to be steady at that point. Let's wrap this up, go into the A main. That was a decent race. The A main, here we go. Getting started. We're at the tail of the pack tonight. Doing the B main like we did. It's just how the cookie crumbles. 42 cars in Hornets that night. So, and there were some really fast cars as well. Average lap times in the 19.4s for me, so not bad, but it could be better. This race was plagued by yellows. We get a time limit for these races, and so at some point in time they tell us, you know, hey, next yellow race is over. So we'll encounter that in this race, actually. Just trying to be steady, get my next position, so is Jack. You know, get 15 laps here to make it to the front. Mentioned earlier about the safety hub. I think in one of these yellows I got stuck behind a car, and it was just wobbly. I mean, I couldn't imagine why the guy kept racing on it other than he could get away with it. But when your tire's flopping around like a fish in the back end, you might want to consider your safety at that point. I kept pointing at him. I was hoping they were going to black flag the guy, but we get into the yellow, and right behind him we're all, you know, lining up to get to the next, you know, green. Here I'm looking at this guy's tire, and it's off the hook wobbly. Here we are to restart. That didn't last long. We're going into a yellow here. sometimes with the restarts, it's a good time for you to try and keep your gaps as minimal as possible. But we were in a rush that night, and so the gaps were pretty wide. I mean, you can see there's still people trying to get going here. There, I got the leader almost up on him already. So the only thing I could probably have done a little bit better was keep my gaps to a minimum if I know we're going into a restart. Sometimes it's not really obvious when you're in the car if you're going to hit a restart. I mean, they do turn out the lights, but they can make a snap decision if they're, running out late, real short on time. I think that happened that night. So looks like we got another yellow coming up here. Not sure what happens. Yeah. Another restart. I'm gonna try and run the high line as much as possible here, but you can only do so much. See, I'm starting to change positions pretty quick here. This is the point in the race where you get about halfway, people start overdriving. You get slide-offs or people hitting the wall. I'm pretty sure the car getting towed off here, they hit 4. So that wasn't a very good night for them. Get relined up here again. At this point, we kind of know it's, crunch time. Get a little off tracks there. I'm not sure what number that white car was. They went off on 2. Now they're just off the track totally. This was it. We knew the next yellow was going to end the race. And I'm pretty sure one of the cars lost a hub.